And welcome everyone to the Coach Sam Marple Show. I'm Shannon Hutchinson. Glad to be joined by the first-year head coach of the Raiders. Coach, look, we already got props. You know, Mark Stoops don't go anywhere. He has a Coke or a Diet Coke product. We've got a Diet Mountain Dew product here. I paid for that myself, though.
Look like Nick Saban. And you know how you've seen the prop where he holds up the Coke can and says, "That's the Coke." Yeah. Maybe we're getting famous with all them views.
That could be it. I watched it 3 times. No, I'm just kidding. Here we go. Let's talk McQuarrie Central last week, Coach. We previewed it a week ago. Bell County come in 1 or 2 in the state in Class 3A. By all accounts, your team gave a good representation of itself. Just too much Bell County is. In the end, the Bobcats 46-7. But snapshots of that game, what do you think, Coach?
I was really proud of our boys. I thought, to be honest with you, you were playing, probably the best football team you played for the year. And we've talked about our struggles up front, and we've talked a little bit about how we need to start playing football on our side of the line, or the other team's side of the line of scrimmage. And really, the other night was the first Friday night where you could find multiple times during the, on the game film where that was happening. We started trying to play ball on the other people's side of the line of scrimmage. And I think something you think about it early. I mean, we're looking at moral victories here, and you want to look at moral victories, but
you also got to be a realist.
You got to be a realist too. And we went down, and when we drive the ball all the way down, get to the 1 yard line, and we don't get in. And I think that's a learning curve kind of thing. You can look on the film and say, we kept ourselves from getting in, even though Bell County done some great things there too. And then you came back, and actually we made a huge stop, and I thought the referee crew we had done a great job, ref the game great, but they just missed a call, and we punched the ball out. The bad guys fumbled the ball, and the 3 yard line goes out. Should have been a safety. So you're at the end of the first quarter. You're looking right there. There's a very real possibility that you're up like 9-0. Ending the first quarter on Bell County. And we continue to make good drives. So I think we got in the red zone within the 10 yards 3 different times that night. Fit the box. Always hear me talking about fit the box. Thought we fit the box really well.
Say that again. When you say fit the box, what do you?
Yeah.
You like the way you're attacking, or you like the way you're lining up?
Well, you're looking at, it's kind of like the fundamentals of your defense, and we're a gap scheme defense. So that means everybody's responsible for a gap, and as the football moves, gaps move. So that's a big part of your practice on defense, is getting kids to the right spot, so they have a chance to be successful. And I thought we made a big gain in doing that. Again, just one thing is, like you said, too much Bell County. No matter how good we were doing there was probably a little too much Daniel Thomas.
Yeah. He finishes 17 carries, 188 yards, and 3 touchdowns. You limit them, and I say that, and being sincere, you limit them to 277 rushing yards. They pass for 62 to go to 339 yards, but you're less than 100 away from them. You rush for 117. You pass for 132. Your sophomore quarterback, Peyton Hickam, finishes the night 11-17, 132 yards. And sophomore Brock Strunk, you really relied on him in that running game. If my Ryherds is correct, he finished with 31 carries for 69 hard yards and a score.
Yeah, well, we doubled them up on plays. So some of that is that they scored quickly on a couple of their drives. The other part is, when we got the ball back after halftime, we went on an 11-minute drive. That was first down after first down, and this was varsity playing varsity. We went on an 11-minute drive and scored at the end of it. So, that's big time there. I think by doubling up the plays is why you're able to keep some of the yards. And Brock, I felt like the last 2 weeks you have watched Brock on film grow offensively. And I think that's done a lot for some of the other backs kind of in the stable, the Mitchell kid and some other boys, because once you start getting one to kind of see the picture, other people, when they want those reps, they start trying to attack to get that picture too.
Your team they were in at the district opener looking for their first win. You leave, and what's good, it was Bell County 46, McQuarrie Central 7. How important, when you talk about these things of making that improvement, and you're seeing some improvement in the numbers, maybe not on the final scoreboard like you would want, but how important is it, that offense, to keep that, young defense off the field a little bit as well.
Yeah, I think the big thing you got to understand right now is a lot of the people talk about your offense and your defense. So much of it's your exact same kids with us right now.
I coached Little League one time, and I had a guy. I did the offense, he did the defense, and he would yell, "Defense!" One guy would in Little League would trot out, and one guy trot out.
Yeah, so I mean, you have a little bit of that right now, but I do think the way you kind of rotate your people around and you move at different positions, and I think the key here for us is that we continuing to see growth. You almost have to turn that scoreboard off in your mind. You're there and you're playing, but it's about you getting better, and you're working for the future and working for these kids to have a chance to be successful. I think something a lot of people don't really know about us is we are a hugely sophomore, freshman, junior dominated group. So almost every single kid that you see that makes a play on Friday night, and the kids that come in and sub through, they have multiple years left here to make plays again. And we're really excited about Coach Goins and the middle school and the group of kids, another 20, 21 kids that's going to be coming up from the 8th grade this year. So excited about those things.
Coach, you look at those numbers, though, you're within 90, you doubled them on plays, and like you said, some of that is a credit to Daniel Thomas, the state's leading rusher and leading scorer. But when things like that are going well, I mean, do you turn off your scoreboard and your mental clock and say, hey, let's work to get better? Let's see what we're doing. What can we build on?
Well, I think it's a balance of both things. And people, one thing we've done, you've got to have success. Kids have got to have success. Your program's got to have success. And when you can't have success on the scoreboard sometimes like you want right now, because, hey, that's why the scoreboard's on. That's the most important thing. This ain't about moral victories.
They do pay the refs to be there.
They pay the refs to be there. That's the most important things. But sometimes you're just not physically able to have that success there right now, and you've got to find ways to create that success in other ways. And,
and a big shout out to the JV and Coach Troxel.
2-0 over there.
They have swept across the Highway 92 ball as they've knocked off the Cardinals here at Norm Parsons Field. I think that was 2 weeks ago, and you followed up the return trip earlier this week on Monday night. I believe it finished up 14-6.
Yeah. I told Coach Troxel he was going to, if he ended right now, he may end as the all-time winningest coach in McCory County history. So, JV's leading the way.
But that's important for those guys. Not only, we've talked, I guess I could say we do talk quite a bit off, but we talk about how important it is kids get rep. But with you doing what you want to do, how important is it for your guys also to get reps, but get it in a winning atmosphere?
I think that's key for a lot of kids, and that's just what we was talking about. You've got to find other ways for your student athletes to have success. And in the JV, a lot of the same. I tell you how freshman and sophomore dominated you are, then that ends up being a lot of the same kids. Then you add sprinkles and some other kids who comes in to do that. The other thing I feel we've really tried to do is over the last couple of weeks, us and the coaches, is we've got to start celebrating. Like I talk about, we do really good for 3 plays. Then that one that busts out to score. We've got to start. We've kind of set up an internal award system and things where kids, because it's about showing kids. Kids will rise to the expectations you put on them, and that you give them, and you reward them for, and that you correct when you can, and that's what we're working to do right now.
Well, we're going to talk about a team that the Raiders have not played since September 24th of 2010, and that's the Panthers of Knox Central. A very familiar foe in middle school, and we'll talk about this a little bit. It was always odd when you play or you have family involved. A team's program that you play a lot in middle school, and then you get somebody random on the schedule. This is a team, while they've not been on the varsity schedule in over a decade, your kids are pretty familiar because Knox and McCory have played multiple times in middle school over the years.
Yeah. I mean, and it's kind of a football program. I've thought about as I've seen them on the schedule here is that they've kind of done what at a times we're here working to do right now. You go back 10 years ago, and Knox Central's football program, had kind of really got down at one time.
Oh,
and they come through, and I don't know if it was exactly 10 years ago, but somewhere in that frame, and they came through and they invested in their program on the top end. They built youth programs and kids, and they've had at this point now.
Coach
Scotty Russell, Wayne Mills,
and Fred Hoskins.
They've had a lot of big name coaches come through there to that place, and
we're jumping ahead.
Yeah.
Save all that information because I've got two young, good-looking fellas that will be pleasing to the camera. I know what you get with us, but we're very happy to have with us a couple juniors today. I've got Gene Sharp, a junior offensive and defensive lineman. I'm going to scoot you on over, buddy. Me and Coach don't like to sit that close together. We have to work together. And we're also happy to have Jacob Cecil, junior outside linebacker and wide out for the 2023 Raiders. Guys, first, welcome to the Coach Sam Marple Show. All guests here do receive a lot of good gifts, usually parting gifts. I'm still waiting on mine. I had to buy my own drink, but let's start with a lineman. I like to talk to my linemen. What do you play on the offensive line, Gene?
I play left guard.
And on defense?
Left end.
So you play defensive end and left guard. If Coach come to you and said, Gene, I'm going to let you pick what you get to play tonight, which side would you pick of the football?
That's a hard question.
He's not watching.
I don't know. I'd say probably offense. I feel like we have some better depth on defense and stuff.
So you're thinking about the team first?
Yeah, of course. Always.
Boy, I'm trying to let you be selfish and tell me what you want to do, and to me it was always offensive line kind of. You've got to have such a focus as far as where you're supposed to be, what your responsibilities are. While defense, I was like, well, back then, it's been several years ago, I could let my mullet down and just go.
Yeah.
And do you find yourself being a little more tense on one side than the other, or not really?
Not really. I'd say, it takes a lot of thinking on both sides of the ball, really, because, of course, when you walk up to the line on offense and stuff, you're trying to figure out who you're blocking and, where you want to take them. But you get on defense and you're trying to read formations and stuff and where you think the ball might be going.
Student athlete here, guys. We got a student athlete. He's a student of the game. Don't go anywhere, Gene. I'm going to talk to you a little further. Another junior. Of course, Gene, if you're watching the games and you come out, he's wearing number 58. And I'm sure you don't leave the field a whole lot. We also joined by number 7. If you're watching those games, Jacob Cecil, a junior outside linebacker, wide receiver. Jacob, where do you feel like you've had the most success for your, is it on offense or defense?
It's definitely defense.
Well, you said that when you didn't hesitate.
I'm definitely mainly defense. It's just, I don't know, my pride in football probably. It's probably defense.
What do you like best about playing linebacker?
Just making the tackles. Sacks is just amazing.
And on offense, you play a little wide out. Do you tight end, wide out? Can you run the ball? What is your main job on the offensive end?
A little bit of everything. Blocking, running the ball, catching the ball. It's just really where they need subs. Need help.
No, you're often not the season that you'd hope for, but you look at this, what have you enjoyed the most going into this point of the season? I'll start with you first, Jacob.
Well, I think the season hasn't turned out, I'll say how we wanted it to turn out, but I feel like we've grown a whole lot since the first game of the year, especially since last year. This is a whole different football team. We just all growed and we're all hitting the weight room real good right now.
So that gives you a lot of confidence, that added strength and that added stamina. What about you, Gene? I didn't get to ask you that. If you had something, like I said, and there's still plenty of football left on the schedule, but up to this point, what is something that you said, well, I really have enjoyed that?
I would say just getting to know the coaches, brought in a whole new staff pretty much this year, and it's just been awesome getting to know everybody and know their schemes and, obviously just been hitting the weight room really hard.
Now Coach Stevens and Coach Bowles, they don't work you guys very hard in the weight room, do they?
Oh, I don't know if I say that.
I watched some videos that was shared the other day. It seems like y'all get after it pretty good.
Well, we get after it every day.
Every day. Well, listen, guys, what's it going to take? I'll give you one more question. Talking Knox Central, go over there to pull the upset on Friday night. Gene, if there's one thing you say, if we do this, I like our chances. What would that be?
I'd say just limiting big plays. I mean, you look at Bell County last week. I mean, there's a lot of drives where we were limited them to like 2 or 3 yards every single play, and then they'd break it off for 50 or 60, So I think if we can, just play discipline and limit the big plays, I think I like our chances really good.
All right. And Jacob, one thing you got to do well to go over there and pull the upset.
I would say is make the play. Like on offense, we get down there on the goal line 1 yard. We need 1 yard to go, and we just don't get it. If we make that play, we're in the game.
I tell you, I like both those answers. We've got juniors Gene Sharp to my right, and to his right is junior Jacob Cecil. Another more, I guess I'll come out with it here in a minute, but 2 fine young men representing McQuarrie Central, Raider Athletics, and the Raider football program. Guys, best of luck on Friday, and we'll be following you and supporting you.
Thank you.
And Coach Marple is getting ready to join me again. It is Friday night, 2nd district game of the season, as McQuarrie Central travels to 3-2 Knox Central. Knox Central opened the season with a loss to a very good Whitley County team, coached by former UC head coach Matt Reimer, 49-26 in that one. Odd matchup there. Reimer's 2 co-defensive coordinators serve as the co-defensive coordinators at Knox Central, at Cumberland. So that was interesting. They defeated Williamsburg 26-12. They lost to Somerset 47-12 in a game that was much closer than that. But their last 2 outings before last week's open day, they just had their way with Scott, Tennessee, 44-3. And Knox Central, much like a lot of these mountain and area programs, something not a lot of teams, you can say Danville's down. Danville still has athletes and speed across the board. And Frank Parks Jr. in his first season will have Danville back playing good football. Knox Central defeats Danville 50-40. Coach, what's your thoughts of? I believe it's Coach